Yo, 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 right back at you with another episode in the mirror. I'm your boy, Jimmy Jam,
It's your girl Keisha J.
Keisha J.
What's happening? What's
So,
happening,
what's up
Jimmy
with you, little
Jam?
lady? It's been a minute. You ain't been on here with your
Yeah,
boy in a
yeah,
while.
yeah. Little
Everything
vacationing
okay?
and Easter with the grandkids and
That's what's up. That's what's
strawberry
up.
picking, doing some grandma
I saw them pictures of them
duties.
strawberries looking delicious,
they
boy.
were they were
That's what's
good
up.
and
So, you say
sweet.
you're doing the grandma
Yeah,
duties. All right.
spending time with the family, just having a little.
You're taking your
Huh,
little you time. I
that's
feel
it.
you.
That's
Hey,
it.
everybody need that. Same here, just doing what I do,
All right, all right. So
working and being with the family. You know what I'm saying? So
that's all we can do.
that's all we can do. We missing our co-host,
Yeah.
Miss Nisi. Shout out to Miss
Shout
Nisi.
out, Miss Nisi
She
girl.
doing her thing, whatever.
That's
So
what's up.
I know we've been holding it down, trying
Appreciate
to.
y'all. I
It's
see. Y'all got a little
So I
crunk.
guess you got to step in today
Okay, okay.
and hold it down. So what we gonna chop it up about a little bit?
So we're gonna talk about narcissism
Oh,
and narcissistic traits and
okay.
characteristics, how to identify those, um, especially when you're in a relationship, um, understanding how to deal with it.
Okay. So, different type of narcissism is right. Like narcissists, they come in all shapes, form, and fashion,
I
right?
think so, male or female, and or female. Now, funny
Okay.
fact, this guy told me years ago that only women can be narcissists because women
Uh,
definitely have they are the very definition of narcissism because they fit every criteria. So a man can't be a narcissist, which, that's a bunch of crap, right?
right. It's definitely some male chauvinist that was saying that right there, but it definitely most narcissists are, I believe, I would say, just, and I don't have any facts on that, but I would be like most narcissists are men because it gives them that sense of control and power that men thrive. Some men thrive so much on being able to be in control and power to
Right.
where you don't really see that winning women like that. Even though there are some, you don't get me wrong, I know it's
Well, I don't
a
know because
lot of
this
them.
new breed now, they
Yeah.
gung ho, you know. So I don't know. I kind of beg to differ with that.
Well,
It's a new breed of
because
women out here.
most narcissists, they like, they control freaks. You know what I'm saying? They pretty much want all the attention. You know what I'm saying? They want definitely to defame their partner or whoever it is that they. I think a lot of time it's more like an envy,
Right.
like they might envy they, like we talking about in relationships, being with a narcissist. It's like sometimes they feel like you the you the opposite.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so that can be um that can be one of the most deadliest type of narcissist behaviors that you can encounter is when a spouse and has it towards another spouse,
Yeah.
because that can lead to that's what a lot of domestic violence cases come from, being with a either a narcissist man or a narcissist woman,
Right.
because it definitely, it's not as many as domestic violence cases against men, with women being the aggressor, as it is with the men being the aggressor towards the women.
Right.
So
But there are in the alphabet community. I don't want to offend nobody. I
I
love
don't,
everybody, but all
yeah,
them
but
different alphabets. That community, I see that a lot too. With like especially two women, because I'm just like if you're going through all that with a woman, but your point.
oh yeah, I have no comment about any of
Yeah.
that right there,
So
because
I see it. I
I
have
don't be in
seen
that
it.
community
Right.
at all to be able to even speak on that. Um,
So
but
you don't have nobody in your family or anybody close to you, your circle.
like I say, I try to stick with a heterosexual type of conversation, because that's what I am.
And environment,
You know what
right?
I'm saying, right? So that doesn't concern me. I just try to stay away from those that don't concern me,
Gotcha,
and
gotcha.
that's just one that doesn't concern me because I'm not in that community. So, you know,
That's right. That's right. But
whatever.
anyway, back to the man and the woman and the situation with
Right.
a partner, one or more. Because what happens when you have two partners that are
I
narcissists?
don't think they. I've never.
You don't think two narcissists could be in a
I
relationship?
don't. I don't. They fight like hell.
I mean,
I
well,
don't
you
think
got a
so.
lot of people fight like hell.
You're right. You're right. But
So that could be the case.
because I think a narcissist with that type of spirit that a narcissist possess, it seeks attention and constant validation, and it's just no way two people that have that same ambition can even be in a relationship. They might try to come together, but it ain't even gonna make it.
Yeah, so they might try, but
Right, it ain't even
it
gonna
ain't
make
gonna
it to a
last.
relationship where they together get married. I just don't think it will. I've never heard of anybody that said that they was married to a narcissist and they are narcissists too, which you never really hear nobody say that they are
I don't
narcissists.
think anybody will own up to being
Right.
a narcissist.
So
First off,
yeah.
they're not
So
gonna own up to
yeah, I mean, I think it's like I say, it's predominantly men, but it is some narcissist women that have some control issues too, and I guess that would be something I probably can't talk about because I'm not a woman and I don't know what goes through a woman's mind or emotions when she's crashing out or whatever. That she feel like she can't get her way or something, and now she want to manipulate. I think women narcissists kind of go about it different. It's more of a manipulation type of narcissistic behavior to where they can kind of use certain things to charm, to just pretty much manipulate. Men are more aggressive, forceful,
right. That could be the case, but I
yeah,
think
more physical.
a narcissist is gonna be manipulating anyway
Well,
because
yeah,
they
because
have
of
that
different types of
manipulating
manipulation.
type spirit, like
Right.
you said.
Of course.
And if they're wrong, they'll manipulate you into thinking that they're right
Right.
because and then they
Right.
really believe themselves that they're right. So
Some cases.
I just feel like narcissists walk around with these blinders on, and it's everybody else but them refusing to accept accountability. Accountability. Yeah, I'm tongue tied today, and just refusing to be responsible for anything that they do.
Right. I mean, that's true. I know.
They will, and then I'm sorry. Not only that, refusing to accept responsibility, taking accountability.
Right.
Narcissists will flip that on you and make you think it's you.
Right. Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, they do have, but I think, like I said, just with the different types, I think men and women kind of go about it differently.
Right.
But because of the texture of a woman, she's able to be more manipulative. I think the men are they manipulative, but it's more forceful. You know what I'm saying? It's more like it's a lot more aggression when you having a male narcissist as opposed to a female narcissist, especially one that has that manipulation spirit to a T, that knows how to manipulate, the opposite sex.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, but either one can be very deadly in a relationship. To when people say they love you to death, you got to very well
Well, no,
take
because I
that.
don't want you to love me to
Right.
death.
Take that really seriously. Like,
Right.
what you mean by that? It's nothing to smile at no more and say, oh, they say they love me to death, but what do you really mean by that? I mean, you really mean physically that if you can't love me no more, you're gonna take me out of here,
And
and that's
sometimes
what a
they
lot
do
of them
mean
think.
that
Right.
because I had an abuser, and that's what he used to tell me all the time. I love you to death.
Yeah.
And he definitely told me that if he couldn't have me, nobody would. He'll take me and him out. Oh, he was a real narcissist. However, as you can see, I'm still here. You know, those were some days though, dealing with the narcissists and they don't know that they are narcissists. You couldn't tell them, even if you gave them a point blank period definition. You tell them, show them certain ways that they have behaved. You
Right.
can put it in their face, and they're still going to be crafty enough to wiggle up out of that. But so, how do you think? Because I do know also,
Mm-hmm.
let's just say a couple where they were over together over 20 years, and one partner was a narcissist. So, how do you think that
Mm.
a relationship can last that long with a narcissist?
Say, so you saying like someone in a relationship with a narcissist for 20 some years,
Right.
and uh, man, that had to be like a brutal, like a slow kill type of situation where whoever the other person was died slowly every day to where to you it has to be to a point where you then lost who you are as a person, lost yourself, lost your self belief, your self esteem, any kind of confidence. All that has to be gone for someone to endure something that long. Um, the question, is what do a person like that do coming from something like that?
I mean, or maybe they could be just a good actor or actress.
No, you talking about 20 years.
Right.
No one can act that long. 20
Okay.
years.
So,
That's a long time.
say for instance, because we already established that narcissists are very creative, they're manipulative.
Right.
So it may have taken some time to get to that point. And then you know how we are. We tend to excuse behaviors because we in love. We love this person. Da da
Right.
da da. Da. Oh, they just did that. That's just how. I mean, that's the regular one is gonna be what. Oh, that's just how they are.
Right.
You don't mean no harm. It's all love. The thing is, we need to understand that there are narcissists out here, and they are very clever. So we need to be, very aware of what to look for in a narcissist. How do
Uh,
we identify? Oh, I'm dealing with a narcissist.
I mean, you got,
Hit the road.
a person that want to control everything, every aspect of what you do. Um, Even your good times, your bad times, just got to be in control. Um, Constantly need, like I say, they constantly need validation. They need always to give these praises and feel like they just the best of whatever they doing.
Right,
So they
right,
need that constant validation. They, like you say, they're gonna be very manipulative. They like to play a lot of head games and kind of, make you feel that you're overreacting to the disrespect that you're reacting to.
right, right.
So that's one of the most clever traits that they, I think, operate off for the one, because they never have to deal with being accountable. You know what I'm saying? Because if you can take what you do and just shit all over people, you know what I'm saying? Just treat them any kind of way and do what you do. And then when they call you on that, you flipping it to where now it's like, I'm the victim. I didn't, I'm just being me.
Every single
You
time.
know what I'm saying? If you don't like me, who I am, most of them always say that. But it's like at some point, you didn't probably cross this barrier so many times in your life. Because narcissists is just not to a point where they just feel like, this is the first time that somebody that said that I got issues of some sort. That happens a lot. So it's like a constant repetition type of thing that you're going through. And at some point you would think a narcissist, which I mean, like I said, I've never heard no one say I used to be a narcissist. That I'm
Right.
delivered
So
from
once
that.
a narcissist,
I,
always a narcissist.
I I just feel like most of the time, yeah, because is that whatever that demon is, that demonic spirit that possesses them, it makes it so it blocks out they conscience, and the conscience comes from the mirror. You see what I'm saying? But you can look yourself in the mirror and believe the bullshit that you just told everybody all day long. You blind to reality.
And that's what we
You see what I'm
said.
saying?
They're
So
blinded, but
so I
they
don't think
believe
they
it
come back.
themselves. They
Now,
have told that lie so
Well,
many times they believe.
but I will say I don't think it's nothing that any human can do to help a narcissist.
Oh, wow.
So you trying to
Only God.
have an intervention with it? No, I'm just gonna sit down. We're gonna do this. No, you don't have that power.
That's not gonna work.
Only God can help that because of how much that that demon had grown inside that individual all the way from childhood. It ain't come in when they got grown. That was a spirit that got in the womb that was brought into the earth and is just manifest throughout the years. And they figure out ways to maneuver through it. And they long as they get validation, because they're gonna find validation. It's like a right now on the internet, it's a ministry for anything that you believe in. Whatever you believe in. If you believe that men are superior to women and women are to be servants to men, I guarantee you can go on the internet and you can find a social site, a group with a lot of following, with a big following that really believe that same thing. So you can pretty much feed whatever ego you have by the internet to where you would be so far gone, it's no return.
Okay, but you're definitely not gonna find a narcissist group.
They gotta go. It's not gonna be titled narcissist,
right?
But they're gonna have the same belief system.
Oh,
you see what I'm saying? They're gonna have the same belief system because they blend together. You know what I'm saying? Just like we was talking about the alphabet community, they blend together. They became a community because they had the same beliefs.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that movement that they came on is because of what we all believed in. So we're gonna get this together and we're gonna feed each other's beliefs. You know what I'm saying? That's what religion is. Religion is no different. You know what I'm saying?
So you're saying that narcissism is mostly a feminine trait. No, masculine.
No. Well, I would say the majority. That we know of. Okay, because I'm quite sure it's another side out there. Because I don't see too many men want to call and say, "She beat me up," and get restraining orders on a woman. So a lot of men tuck that and they keep it when they're going through stuff like that with a woman. But it definitely is a lot of cases that I believe that you can do the search on that if you want to. That it's a lot of women that is definitely abusive to their men.
Yes, it is.
You know what I'm saying? And they going through some of those. They with a narcissist. They with a narcissist.
So in reference to the guy that I told you about a few years back that says that there's no way a man can be a narcissist because women meet every definition of narcissist. So a man can't be a narcissist. Okay, so the question, we're gonna put it out there to y'all. Chime in and let us know what you think. I mean, you think that is more men are narcissists or women? Even
I mean, that's a matter of public opinion.
Yeah, let's ask the public. What do you think? Y'all chime in and let us know.
I definitely know a man can't be a narcissist. So that fella that said that, I don't know.
He was a narcissist. His damn
probably was.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
I knew it when he was telling me that.
Definitely men can be narcissists.
Right.
I mean, we know
that. Only a narcissist would say some shit like that.
I mean, I think kids could be a narcissist because they've developed. It's like the little kid
especially if they being in the house with one of
they say he got the ball, and everybody getting ready to play a game, and he don't get picked.
Oh, that's a problem.
He take the ball, so don't nobody get there and play. You know that's the beginning. Those are early symptoms of a young narcissist. Mm-hmm. It's like if I can't play, nobody gonna play.
Okay, well, some of that might be learned behavior too, because if you in the house with
I think some of it is just inherited. I think because you can have children that ain't never been around their father in their life, but you can see a lot of the ways of that guy.
Right.
I mean, that they never been. I think a lot of behavior is inherited.
Man, you really. Yeah. So you think it's in the genetics, in the DNA?
Genetics, yeah, I do. It's a part of it. Yeah, not the majority of it, but I think a lot of behavior patterns are definitely in the genetics.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Chime in and let us know what y'all think.
You know what I'm saying?
Is narcissism in the DNA? Is it a genetic thing, a man thing, a woman thing? We got different opinions.
Nah, look, you making titles. I ain't say narcissism is in the DNA. Well, I'm just saying that behavior, bad behavior types and patterns definitely is inherited in a lot of cases. I'm not
Through
saying that
genetics. I
through
said
genetics, right?
I said the
Right.
genetics
Yeah, I'm
and the
not putting a
DNA
label
part.
and say that narcissism is through the DNA. No,
No,
that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that bad behavior types and patterns are definitely passed from generation to generation.
right. And I still
Yeah.
think that to some degree it can be a learned behavior.
But because if you look in the generation before, you had your uncles and whatever, they was in jail, in and out, running the streets. Then the second generation, they come through, they doing the same. That's what they feel. So these behavior patterns continue, and a lot of times you ain't never spent no time with so and so, Uncle Buddy, whatever his name was, to know what he was doing and how he did things, or even your dad, or that matter. So I think you inherited a lot of bad behavior traits, which sometimes you got kids that's in good environment still get bad and do bad things.
Okay, so how do we deal with narcissism and
So
narcissistic
who's
person?
that on there right there? Marie.
Maurice Hill.
Maria Mo Gotti.
What's up, Mogatti?
What it say? I can't see it. It say both men and women can be narcissists. That's
Both
right.
men
That's
and
right.
women can be narcissists. I agree,
No doubt.
Mo. I definitely agree.
No
But
doubt.
I think that a lot of narcissists are like hidden in plain sight.
Hmm.
So that's why I said, how do you deal with a narcissist once you identify?
Get the hell away.
You just get the hell away. But what if it's your mama, your daddy, your brother, your uncle? What if it's a loved one? What if it's your partner? You've been dating somebody for
Yeah.
however long, and then a year and a half later, because if you don't live with somebody, you really don't know how they are until you live with them. So
Right.
let's just say you a couple dating for a year or two or so, and then y'all decide to move in. So now you are already invested in this relationship with this partner that
Right.
now you're seeing that's a narcissist.
Mm-hmm.
Just still get the hell away.
Well, I mean, you had to start somewhere. A lot of times people say they all of a sudden showed up. You know what I'm saying? Like you done been with this person for however long it be, and then all of a sudden the true person shows up. I just think a lot of time we miss a lot of symptoms and a
Red
lot of
flag.
signs, and right, we just get into this habit of collecting red
Collecting.
flags and just feeling like especially if you're an empath, because most people that are empath, they want to see the good in somebody even though they're
Right. I'm
terrible.
definitely.
So no matter how bad they treat you, it's like because they show signs of, they show glimpse of goodness, how
Right,
good they can be.
right.
Because it's the more they manipulate you, the more they'll spoil you with stuff.
Right.
You
And
see what I'm
then
saying?
you say,
So
oh, he got a good heart, but
right. So you
he
see
mean well.
so you continue to collect these flags when the person already pretty much showing you who you are, who they are. So if you go into a situation like that thinking you can change something and then realize that you can't do something that that own person mother wasn't able to do, then you are in a situation where you got to figure out who is more important in this situation, me or them. I mean, and once you figure that out, you'll know what to do. Because if you figure out, say, well, they're more important than me, I got to be this, wifey that, yeah, I don't want to end in divorces and all this because the Bible say this, that, and the third, and you will learn to lose who you are to
Right.
submit to this narcissist man
Right.
and live a miserable life.
So I
But
guess
it's
it's
by
safe to
choice.
say that, especially in a domestic violence situation,
Mm.
that definitely is a narcissist, right? I've dealt with
I think all men that hit women and put their hands on women are narcissists. Every
and
last
the
one of them.
women that do too.
Right. Every.
But
No, I wouldn't say that. I just
I'm
say
saying the women that do that, because there
I
are
wouldn't.
women that
I
put
would.
their hands on the
Yeah,
women.
but I wouldn't say that they narcissists. Some women just operate off of feelings and emotions, and their feelings get hurt, and they don't know how to control their feelings and emotions. So,
What's the difference between a man? I mean, a man does
well,
that
we
too, is a narcissist.
as a man, you know that you can you physically overpower a woman. You know that from a boy. You know this. These are things that you know that it is the forbidden to put your hands on a woman, on a girl, on a child. So you know this. So it is a difference. Girls are pretty much taught that the man is going to be their protector. You don't really teach your daughter to keep her hands off a man because you pretty much don't expect her to be hitting on a man,
Right.
especially if you a man in her life and you showing her how be what's affection and what's true passion is, and understanding the difference between soft love and I don't know, it ain't even love, but it's kind of confusing to women that it may come across as rough love, but it ain't.
Or maybe tough love.
Well, you it could be tough love, but you gotta have more love than toughness.
Right.
So a lot of time it can be confused as tough love, but it's more toughness than anything else. So I mean, you just have to, a lot of times it's how you feel I mean, I can't tell women how to feel. I don't know, but I would tell, with my daughter or anybody that's close to me in the female origin, I would basically be like, you got to love yourself
Right.
enough to want better for yourself.
Right.
And even if that's for you being by yourself.
Right. And see,
I
that's
mean,
the biggest thing. I know as a woman, a lot of women don't want to be by themselves.
mm,
And they'll accept
mm,
mediocre, the bare minimum,
yeah.
or nothing at all, just to have somebody to say they got somebody.
That's unfortunate. That's definitely
And then
unfortunate.
I've heard a lot of women, because I also work with domestic violence abuse victims,
Mm,
as well as being one myself. I heard a lot of women say that they lost themselves,
yeah.
and they're scared, because obviously there's that fear factor too, especially when you have the threat of
Right.
being abused or
Right.
further
And then your
abused because
life
you're already
becomes
being
right.
right.
Yeah.
So in those cases,
Mm, mm. I think in those cases right there, they definitely have to have a plan of action
okay,
before you decide to come out of a situation like that, where he definitely has shown you that he's violent and aggressive. Um, definitely have to have a plan. You know what I'm saying? You got to have some people in your corner that really care about you. You know what I'm saying? That because those situations can be very deadly.
hmm
Um, even for people that's helping out.
right. I was about to say that
Yeah,
even for
because
your loved ones that may
right.
be
So you
helping out.
definitely have to have a plan and protection.
And you got to be prepared to cut
Yeah.
that person completely off. You got to cut all ties. They shouldn't have any type of access to you
Right, but even a lot of times that's not even
once you
enough.
execute
Right,
your plan.
in a lot of cases that's not even enough. You know what I'm saying? Because they find a way. Because
Yeah.
once that narcissist realize, especially a violent, aggressive one, I don't think all of them are violent and aggressive. I think they all can be
And they
driven,
all
given
have
the
that
different right,
that
given
tendency
get
to be,
right
but
because of what feeds them. And
right.
the moment that is not fed, it definitely will rise up, you know what I'm saying, and do some of the unthinkable. That's why you see a lot of times you see people, I didn't never see that in that person. I didn't never thought they would do something like that. Well, it was always there. It just never wasn't enough to bring it out. And just that one time, that's all it take one time.
Right. Because you
Yeah.
like you said, they're definitely creative, so they can trick you. And like you said, wine and dine you reward you
Hmm.
for for not
Right.
calling them on their stuff. You
Right.
know.
Hmm. Don't bite
I
it.
was about to say
Don't bite it.
something.
Don't bite it. Just say what's on there. Say what you say. That's what we talking about. You know.
Oh boy. Okay, so we talked about manipulation being, like you said, one of the
Yeah.
most extreme dangerous type of uh,
Yeah,
narcissistic.
it's very persuasive.
Right.
Yeah, because manipulation sometimes can make you forget or second guess what you seen.
Absolutely.
It sometimes it make you second guess what you heard. Like I know what I heard, but some
Right.
could be so
And I know what
Connie.
I
They were
seen.
like, "Did I hear that?
Right. And then if you tell me, well, you saw
Did
that,
I
but
see that?
it wasn't like
I
that.
don't
It
know if
don't look like that.
uh,
It wasn't like that.
right. So I
And then you
mean,
questioning yourself, like, okay, well, I know what I saw, but if they, or she
right,
said it wasn't that, then maybe I could be wrong. Maybe I was just looking at it wrong.
right. That's an art of manipulation.
Really,
Yeah.
that's playing mind fucking
I
games with
mean,
somebody.
hey, that's
They just
part of
done jumped,
manipulation.
got in your
Right.
head, and manipulated you
Right. Just put it, get you to see it their
to
way.
fit their narrative.
Right.
Right.
See it their way. See they fantasy because it's not even reality.
That's crazy.
So I mean, that's why so many people um reward entertainers. You know what I'm saying? Because an entertainer can pretty much feed that part of you that you feel is more important than the part that's information. They receive information, vital information. So that's why entertainers make way more than teachers
Right.
because it's more about dealing with that fantasy. I mean, if I can escape reality for a few minutes, I'll pay anything for that, just to be able to escape what
This
I'm going through, this mess and this stress and this. I
right.
got this, I got that going on. In every corner I turn, is
What's up,
something, is this,
Portis?
that, and the
You got
third.
your boy
So
Portis in the house.
you can do that.
I
Portis, what
can't
it
see
do?
that from.
Portis, Big Cap.
I
Give
know.
shout out to
I
the
can't
boy,
read it.
Big Cap podcast. They
Big
coming on
Cap
here
in the
next.
house.
Yes, yeah. Got the brothers in the house.
Portis and
What it
Mogatti.
say?
I can't
Can't
see.
see it. So what are the signs of narcissists? Like you say, manipulation, gaslight, and all that come under there. Having to be validated, constant validation. Always feel like they need to be told that they good and they great and they good and they great and they good and they great. That's all they would like to hear. Which is
So we said
one of
this. One of the signs is the need for constant validation, recognition.
right.
Uh, what was the other one about? Having a grandiose or larger than life view of themselves,
Yeah.
like because they normally see themselves above and better and bigger than anybody else.
Yeah, they pretty much have this thing about themselves where right they got it all together all the time, always make all the right decisions and ain't never wrong.
Right, never being
Right. I'm
accountable
always the
for their
smartest person in the
action.
room. Um, everybody else dumber than me. I'm smart. So everything has to go the way I want it to go, or it ain't gonna work. Or I ain't gonna be a part of it.
And
Basically.
again, not being accountable for your actions, because it's one thing to acknowledge, okay,
Right.
I effed up, or my bad, I did this, but it's another thing to be responsible and accountable. So I've acknowledged my wrongdoing of the part that I did in this, or the part that I took in this. But then, what are you gonna do about it? What do you do?
Mm.
Because you can't keep doing the same thing over and over, and then just say, "Oh well, my bad, I didn't mean to," or brushing it off.
So these are 10 of the signs that comes from I guess this will be a Microsoft page. It doesn't give the source. Well, this is actually women's health.
Women's health.
Women's health. The first sign, it says strong sense of self-importance. They have to feel like like we just talking about, they deport, they are all in charge of
The
everything.
HNIC.
Or just feel like, everybody need me. I don't need y'all. Everybody need me. Excessive fantasies of it, limited success, power, brilliance, beauty, or ideal love. That's two. A belief that they are overly special or unique. It's just everything, just all about themselves. I mean, when you go down through all 10 of these, it basically just pull you that they exalt themselves on a high level. And say number 4, an intense need for admiration.
Recognition, validation.
Number 5, a sense of entitlement that
Absolutely.
they should get whatever they want. Number 6 is a tendency to use others to achieve their own ends. So you want everybody to do everything for you, and then you come in on the end and take the credit. We got a guy
Take the
that's in
credit,
the
get the
goddamn White
rewards.
House.
Ooh,
But
you talking about Donald
okay,
Trump?
upsetting other people often.
Pissing Negroes off.
Hey, often. I can do it often. It ain't sometimes. You just always fucking with folks. Okay, struggling to keep relationships. Yeah, definitely. Putting
Definitely.
themselves first. Number 9. And number 10, having a overblown sense of worth.
Right. So if everywhere you go, you got a problem with
They
everywhere
say,
you
do
go,
you
and
do you
people,
leave a narcissist early in a relationship, or do you hang around and see if they would change?
you better get the
You hang around to see if they change. You want to, big dog.
I mean, some people
Uh,
might try, but you're just gonna be miserable.
I
Because
go,
like I said, everywhere the thing is, most narcissists after a while, it's gonna come to the, to the light that you dealing with a narcissist. So everywhere you got a problem with somebody got a problem with you. It can't be everybody else.
right,
And everybody can't tell the same lie.
right.
So if you got somebody that several people or any other body have the same issue, you already know that's a narcissistic trait.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think you need to stay in a relationship. I think the first thing you need to do is try to get up out of that thing because it ain't gonna get no better. Um, it never really tends to. Like I said, I've never really seen a website, a group, or an organization that say we are former narcissists and we're here to help
Nobody's going.
educate people about being not.
Nobody is going to admit to
Yeah,
being
so it's
a
like
narcissist.
you stick around thinking the person gonna change. The first part of changing is what? Admittance.
Admit it.
And if the person is never gonna admit it, then
But see,
it's
most
self
people
respect never
think
gonna change.
accountability means admitting it. They feel like if I just admit it, then I'm being accountable. Is that the same?
Well, it just depend on if you admit what. If you admit fault in it,
Right.
right? That is being accountable.
That just admitting it though.
Yeah, that is being accountable. It's saying, yeah, I did that. I fucked up. I made a mistake. That's accountability. That's
Okay.
the first stages of it.
But again, if you keep
Yeah.
doing the same thing over and over and over,
Well,
and
that
you
means you
keep,
got some mental stuff going on.
oh,
You
okay.
got, I just don't know people that, keep doing that. Most of the time, people, when they take accountability, they don't do the same thing over and over again. You're going to make mistakes. I mean, as long as you're alive, you're going to make mistakes. But the worst one is when you keep doing.
Well, see, yeah, I know a cat that said,
Yeah.
"Well, shit, I said I was sorry,
Well, I
but you
mean,
keep
but
doing the same
no,
thing,
it's
bro.
not the
It's a
same.
problem."
It's, if somebody, it's like if he might cuss you out today and that's the day, but then the next day he might don't hold the door open for you. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily the same thing. You know what I'm saying? But if he cuss you out today and say, you know what, babe, I'm sorry for cussing you out. I was a little out of hand. I was a little out of line. 9 times out of 10, before he do it again, it's gonna start to be in the
A little pop up.
subconscious. It'll be like, hold on, you remember how it was last time. That's when you sincere. Because apologies without change behavior is just words.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You can apologize to somebody a million times but keep doing the same shit. That's another form of manipulation.
And that's what I'm saying. So how
That's
can
manipulation
that?
because you can see the change in a person. When a person take accountability, see, you can't take accountability and break it off and make it for less than what it is.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying.
You can't. Accountability means when a person takes accountability, that means they're not going to do it again.
Right.
Not just because they admitted they did it, but a true accountability meaning the first stages of it, you have to admit it
Right.
that you did it. You see what I'm saying? The once you admit it, you take the proper precaution to not do it again.
Right.
So that's how you can identify that. If you being manipulated by somebody, just keep telling you they sorry, but they keep doing it and they keep telling you I'm gonna change and I know I was wrong, but they keep doing it. That's a form of manipulation.
And that's what I was getting at. Most narcissists will do that.
No, most of them, all of them,
All of
not
them.
most of them,
All of
all
them.
of them.
All of them.
Right? There's no category of
But I
narcissism.
haven't singled out a woman narcissist. I don't think I know
Most women are never
one.
ever
I
single
can
out
only tell you
because
about men. I
they,
have dealt with some.
but most of them ain't gonna never know it.
They
Most
don't.
they won't know it.
They won't know it at
No,
all.
like because they just feel like it's impossible for me to be that. Well, I'm just being a woman and just want what I want,
Well,
and
yeah.
I'm using what I got to get what I want. They don't
Yeah.
feel that as being a narcissist trait.
No, that
So a lot of time women that go a lifetime without even knowing they narcissists. Some of them even be pastors and power speakers and all that shit, but they have narcissist traits.
right.
You see what I'm saying? So I mean, you have to be careful of who you getting information from, especially y'all women, because y'all get outside information and run back to the house with that shit like it's law. and think,
Excuse me. I don't
you know what I'm
know about
saying?
y'all
Yeah,
women.
y'all do. The first woman that was created did the same thing I'm talking about.
What did she do?
She
Go.
ran off from outside information and then brought the shit back to the house and he bit it. And everything you know, goddamn, we here. So that's just a trait that y'all have, that y'all have run off and get information somewhere else and it sounds better than what you're getting at home and you bring it back and now you try to make that be law.
I think the kids. I agree with that. With the kids, I'm not gonna let him put that on us women. I don't agree
I
with
ain't
that.
putting it on y'all. I'm
I
just
don't.
saying. I mean, especially the fellas out there, they've been married for a while and got one, two. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Like I say, women. A lot of time, women are not gonna be accountable. They just not because they just feel like I'm supposed to have my way. I'm a woman. Ladies first. You know what I'm saying? It's like
I mean,
that's how
but
they was
that's what
raised.
we were taught.
All right.
If that's
So
how
I
we were
mean,
bred, what's
right.
wrong with it?
What's wrong with it? It still make it wrong. So if you were bred to sell dope and crack, and that's all you know, and
The
that's how
crack
it's supposed
dealers
to
and
be.
they don't see what's
But you
wrong
know
with it.
what's wrong though, right?
I
You know,
know, but I'm
okay,
just
that's
saying.
all right. I'm just saying. So it don't matter how y'all bred it. If it's wrong, it's wrong.
But you got people out there that say, "Okay, it's wrong, but I gotta feed my family."
I get it. Hey,
Okay, it's wrong, but you know,
I'm not a judge of that.
right?
You know what I'm saying? I'm not.
Only God can judge.
Right. I'm not judging, but I do know what's right and what's wrong.
Okay.
Just because I know what's right from wrong don't mean I'm judging you. You see what I'm saying? That's the misconception of the word judge in this era. Is when you telling somebody they wrong, that's they feel like you judging them. That's not judging. That's really trying to look out for you and really showing you how much that I care for you. That I want to see you do something that I know is wrong.
So that's constructive criticism
It's love.
and love. And
Constructive criticism when you telling somebody that they got issues and he'll say, man, you just too shallow minded. You need to, loosen up a little bit, or you might need a few, stop over talking people or something. That's more like constructive criticism when you're trying to pretty much giving them criticism of what you see they doing wrong in a form of behavior type.
right.
So yeah, but I'm thinking, I'm like, if I just go off the hip on, hey, you know, I don't like what you're doing. It's not somewhat constructive criticism. It can
That's
be
a little
just
more
criticism, right? Because
criticism, right?
when you give constructive criticism, you give a solution. You see what I'm saying? To the criticism.
Right.
To whatever you criticize, you got a solution. So, yeah.
So we already understand that the solution to dealing with a narcissist is what?
Catch fire.
Catch a fire. Jim Jam said we gotta catch a fire.
That's all you can do.
But what if it's a loved one, like I said, a family member or
Well, you know how you
somebody
can
that you
love
deal
people
with
from a
daily?
distance.
People have narcissistic boss, narcissistic
Find
coworkers.
another job.
Well, damn, you heard it here first. So look in the mirror.
Find another job. I mean, if it gets to the point, if it interrupts your peace,
Right. Well, it's
I mean,
going to
you should not compromise your peace for anything.
a job, your
It's
marriage.
nothing in this world that should you negotiate your peace with. It's nothing. No one or nothing that you should negotiate your peace with. Because peace is all I ever say. Rest in peace. That peace peace is, you can have peace while you're here on earth. You could have peace in the midst of a storm, a financial crisis, anything going on in your life. You can still have a sense of peace.
Right.
Peace does not mean that you got everything in order. You got the money, you got the house, the cars, all that. That is not what the word peace means. Peace is being in a state of mind to where no matter what goes on around you, that you still calm and you know God got it.
Okay.
So
So you can be
anything that
peaceful
interrupts that,
in around a
right? So
narcissist.
anything that interrupts that, you should be ready to get rid of it. Period. No matter who it is
Right.
or what it is,
Your mama, your daddy,
got to go.
sister, cousin, brother,
I
uncles.
can't condone in that. It's a lot of people that I know that don't condone in where their family live, and they love their family, but they got to go. They have to move on so they can make a better life for themselves.
But it also takes people time to get to that point because
Depending on who you are.
well, yeah, that too. But if you've been in a relationship, like I said, with somebody for a while that you're invested in, you're invested.
Well, depend
It's
on
kind
one
of
thing about
hard.
it. It depends on what you feed your spirit.
That's true.
It depends.
And the other people that you have around you feeding your spirit.
No, it depends on what you feed your spirit. I really do think that our outside influence, as we get to be adults, and we talking about adults, not kids. I really think a lot of times, if we were followers as kids, then we definitely gonna be followers as adults. Okay, if you have that following mentality where you have to feel like you got to fit in and be with all the new trends and do all the stuff everybody doing, and you pretty much gonna go into your adulthood the same way.
Right.
But and so a lot of time that demonic spirit of narcissism picks those kind of people
Okay.
because it can identify through spirit.
Mm.
See, we in the flesh, we can only identify through flesh and visual. But the demonic spirits that presides around us and some within us recognize spirit.
And they like
And they recognize
parasites.
spirit. So I mean, you just depend on what you feed yourself. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? To be able to battle these unforeseen forces that we battle.
Parasites.
These are demonic spirits,
Those
way
also
worse than a
can be
parasite.
parasites.
Way worse than a parasite. You can pretty much get a parasite out because you can see it. But a demonic spirit, you can't see it, and sometimes it'll have you to where you've been lived in it for years
Well, they're
and not
actually
even
walking
knowing it.
around in plain sight. So you can see them, you just don't know.
Yeah. Uh,
So we've identified narcissism as a demonic trait, a demonic
I
spirit.
definitely would say that. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. Yeah,
All right.
definitely ain't heavenly. Yeah,
Most
I
definitely.
definitely would say it's a demonic spirit. Yeah, one of the many demonic spirits that resides around us that needs hosts. Because a lot of them demonic spirit needs hosts. They just can't. They're not as powerful just being in the area. They need actual hosts to be able to carry out the mission that they have.
Right.
So yeah, so in conclusion, what would you conclude what you got out of the service
Okay,
today?
so in conclusion, anybody come back and watch the replay, y'all comment down in the section below. Where we at? We on Jamie Robinson page.
Jamie Robinson. Yeah.
We on Big Cap page. Check us out. Y'all come in and check in the
Network.
comments and tell us
Go
what
with
you
Bo
think.
Network. Yeah.
Are there more? Is the majority of narcissists more men or women?
Yeah.
Check in and let us know what you think. So we identified a lot of the traits of narcissists,
Behavior
and characteristics in people, how to deal with it.
Right.
Jim Jan said, get the F on, just ride on out.
Yeah, you got to get hell on. You know what I'm saying? Nothing from a distance.
And I definitely agree because I have dealt with narcissists. Like I told you guys, coming from a domestic violence situation, I know how hard it is. So if anybody out there, they got hotlines you can call, you need to get out, make your plan and get out. Amen. Don't stay and be abused because a lot of times, even if it's not physical abuse. It could be mental.
That
It
mental
could
is
be
sometimes even
emotional,
worse.
and it's gonna kill your spirit. So, like Jimmy said, you're gonna lose yourself. You know. So we thank y'all for tuning in with us today. You know, we coming to you live in the mirror from both network, and we got Big Cap in the house with Porters and Mo Gotti, and you know, like I said, our producer Bo. This your girl Keisha J.
Jimmy Jam.
All right, peace out till next time, y'all.
All right.